The Rafale fighter jet. Indian Navy's aircraft carrier INS Vikrant will soon be armed with one of the world's most advanced naval fighter jets. India and France are starting talks for the sale of 26 Rafale marine jets for Indian Navy, according to this report by Economic Times. Now, Rafale is the French warbird that recently simulated carrying out a nuclear strike. Pakistan's worst nightmare is about to come true, as Indian Rafale would soon be able to blockade Pakistan Navy in Karachi or Gwadar from over 1,000 kilometers away. No Pakistani missile would touch INS Vikrant at such a distance, while Rafale would provide total air dominance in the Arabian Sea with an operational range of nearly 3,400 kilometers. With Rafale Marine, Indian Navy will maintain its position as the dominant power in the Arabian Sea and the entire Indian Ocean region. But what does it mean for the future of the indigenous Tet-BF fighter jet? India is now just one step away from finalizing an agreement with France for the 26 Rafale fighters. All that remains is the agreement on price for these multi-billion-dollar defense deals. Negotiations begin on the 30th of May between the Indian Defence Ministry with French officials for a deal of 26 Rafale marine jets for ISC-1 or INS Vikrant. It is expected to be around 50,000 crore rupee government-to-government deal between India and France. So by when will 26 Rafale fly from France and land on the deck of India's latest carrier? And will INS Vikrant and Rafale Marine combination also be a credible deterrent against China's rapidly expanding aircraft carrier fleet? The French delegation will include officials from the Defense Ministry and industry, including original equipment manufacturers, Dassault Aviation and Thales. The Defense Acquisition Wing and the Indian Navy will carry out a tough contract negotiations from the Indian side. The Rafale Marine jets will equip INS Vikrant, while INS Vikramaditya is currently armed with MiG-29 fighter jets, who also proved their worth with high-altitude patrols along the LAC or China border in the aftermath of the Galwan Valley clashes. The Navy Chief has directed his team to expedite the project timeline to ensure early finalization and induction of the Rafale jets into the Indian Navy. The monetary agreement on the fighter jet deal is expected to be signed by the end of this financial year or March 2025. Remember, in response to India's request, France had submitted price bids for 26 Rafale M jets in December last year. The Indian Defence Ministry said they got to work and carried out a detailed study of all relevant aspects, including, quote, comparative procurement price of similar aircraft by other countries, unquote. The arms deal, expected to be finalized in the coming months, is poised to substantially bolster the operational capabilities of Indian aircraft carriers in the highly volatile Indo-Pacific region. Now, the deal, when it works out, will be a cost-effective bet for the Indian military. The Rafale M are highly compatible with Indian Air Force's existing Rafale fleet of 36 jets. The commonality will reduce maintenance and spare part costs, as both aircraft share 80% of their machinery. Primarily, the reinforced nose and landing gears of the Rafale M are different. They are designed to handle the demanding conditions of aircraft carrier operations. So why did the Indian Navy bank on the Rafale, and what makes this special, and why did Rafale beat the American F/A-18 Super Hornet to win the Indian defense deal? The Rafale jet specializes in air defense, nuclear deterrence, deep strikes and reconnaissance. It can reach maximum speed of over 1900 kilometers per hour or Mach 1.8 and boasts maximum takeoff weight of 24.5 tons and a service ceiling of 50,000 feet. It has an operational range of nearly 3,400 kilometers, which makes targets at 1,500 kilometers or more within Rafale's reach. The Rafale jets also have an impressive 14 hard points for various air-to-ground or air-to-air operations. Dassault Aviation, the manufacturer, describes the Rafale as an omnivore aircraft capable of adapting to diverse combat scenarios and threats. In a potential dogfight in the South China Sea, it is armed with a potent optical suit to detect even stealth aircraft. The worst kept secret of the Rafale jets, of which the Indian Air Force also operates 2 squadrons, is their ability to deliver and fire nuclear weapons. This gives an advantage to the Indian Navy, which can use its Rafale Marines for the ultimate power projection in the entire Indian Ocean region. The Rafales can fire long-range, air-launched, nuclear-tipped cruise missiles that can be stationed on India's floating airfield anywhere in the Asia-Pacific. With a proven track record in the French military, the mission system supports a variety of armaments, including long-range Meteor missiles and laser-guided bombs. Therefore, the Rafale Marine was chosen over the American F/A-18 Super Hornets. after rigorous testing at the shore-based test facility in Goa. The Meteor-Rafale combo provided a better standoff than the Fa-18 Super Hornets air-to-air missile, the AMRAAM. The most important fact, however, is the integration of nuclear weapon delivery apparatus is approved by the French military, an asset which would have been a real task for India to acquire from the United States. India has never operated American fighter jets, and opting for the Fa-18 would have also meant setting up an entire new ecosystem. The Indian Air Force flies not just the Rafale but also the French Mirage 2000 jets, which were used to carry out the Balakot airstrike. India's military is well aware of the capabilities of French fighter jets, and thus Rafale Marine became the obvious choice. Coming back to details about aircraft carriers armed with INS Vikrant and INS Vikramaditya, Indian Navy is among the rare few in the world with 2 or more aircraft carrier strike groups. INS Vikrant, the force multiplier, became operational in 2023 after undergoing sea and aviation trials. The ship, built by Cochin Shipyard Limited, was commissioned to the Indian Navy on the 2nd of September 2022. The Indian Navy has already test-landed indigenous LCA Tejas and MiG-29 fighter jets on INS Vikrant on multiple occasions to test and train the crew to make it battle-ready. An Indian Navy twin-engine MiG-29K fighter jet also made a night landing and took off from the aircraft carrier for the first time during the day in February 2023. While a naval variant of the LCA Tejas also undertook a maiden landing on board INS Vikrant. Now, the achievement puts India among the select group of nations that can design such a jet that can operate from an aircraft carrier. But does India require more aircraft carriers? Defence Minister Rajnath Singh last week said that India will soon commence building its 3rd aircraft carrier and has plans to make 5 or 6 more carriers after that. The announcement took place only days after China's 3rd and latest and largest aircraft carrier, the Fujian, completed its maiden test voyage. All eyes are on China's next-gen 80 to 85,000 ton aircraft carrier cum warship. China has 2 operational aircraft carriers, the Soviet ex-Varyag or Liaoning and the Shandong, commissioned in 2012 and 2019 respectively. On the other hand, India will soon kickstart the process of building its own 3rd aircraft carrier, christened INS Vishal or ISE-2. INS Vishal will be a 45,000-ton sister ship of INS Vikrant. The robust presence of 3 aircraft carriers will ensure that 2 are always ready for deployment at any time. But what about India's indigenous TET-BF program for future carriers? Now, the Navy is looking to buy Rafale Marine as an interim measure to meet its requirements before the indigenous twin-engine deck-based fighter or TET-BF is ready in a few years. The prototype of the TET-BF could make its maiden flight by 2026 and be ready for production by 2031, in time for ISA-2 or INS Vishal to take to the seas. Have your say. Do Rafale Marines on INS Vikrant give India total naval domination over Pakistan? Leave a comment, hit the like button, and remember to subscribe to InConnect News.